Hey friends, I want to talk about one reason that people might be hesitant to post on the internet, to participate, to show up. Uh, I'm often encouraging my friends to tweet things they say, or to write a thread about something, or to write a blog post, or to share their idea or their passion in some way that makes sense. And that's part of my work. That's part of my empowerment work, is reflecting that to people like, hey, this would be really valuable to share with the world. Please share it. And sometimes people just go ahead and share it. Other times people have resistance come up, or it doesn't feel right. And there's a lot of different reasons that someone might be resistant to sharing something, many of which are very valid. And it's always someone's decision what to share, when, and how. But over time, I've kind of tried to develop some sense of these different resistances and an attunement to the different kinds of resistance that come up. And I might talk more about that at some point, but I want to talk about one very specific form that is subtle, that I never really heard anyone talk about quite like this before, but I think is worth making explicit and making more well known, which is, from a psychological perspective, there's this concept of a shadow, right? Where there are, for all of us, parts of us that may not be fully integrated into our psyche, that we're kind of repressing, that we weren't allowed to fully access earlier in our life, that we were maybe shamed for having. And sometimes that shadow rears its head in an uncomfortable, weird way, where it just sort of, we lash out or do something for some reason we don't really understand. And that's okay. Everybody has aspects of this shadow, or has worked with aspects of shadow. But on the internet, when you put something out there, your shadow is actually really visible. The very concept of a shadow, right, is that it's something that's behind you. Like a physical shadow is cast by light such that it's behind you, and you can't like walk towards it. You can kind of see if you poke your neck around, but in a similar way, a shadow is like a birthmark on your face or something. Like, you can only see it if you look in a mirror, but everyone else can see it by default. So we can see other people's shadows. It's pretty, if you develop an eye or an intuition for this, you can kind of just get a sense, oh, this person has some repressed anger, or, has something about this aspect of their personality that they haven't fully integrated yet. And at least in my experience, typically when you can see something like that, it also comes with compassion, where you understand and you have acceptance for that part of that person. But on the internet, if you read someone's tweet in particular, but also other creative forms of expression, in a similar way, you can kind of just get a sense, oh, I think this person has this in their shadow, where there's something about their relationship to work, or men, or women, or money, or religion that's just not fully integrated. And, that can make you uncomfortable, or be like icky or gross. And typically, it's very common to judge someone for that, be like, oh, they need to work on that. And everyone else can kind of see that, or a lot of people can see that, but the person who's saying it, because it's their shadow, can't see it. It's right in their blind spot. And that creates an asymmetry where everyone else can see it, but they can't. And if we know that well, if we're used to seeing other people's shadows from what they express on the internet, then it can be uncomfortable to consider the prospect of putting ourselves out there, because we just know, oh, other people are going to see my shadow. They're going to see my stuff, and they're going to judge me for that. They might not be very kind about that. That can be really uncomfortable. I like to joke whenever I'm talking about the shadow. I'll be like, oh yeah, everyone else has a shadow. I don't have one. I don't have any of that. And everyone's like, yeah, of course, Tashin. Probably if you've watched my videos or read my tweets, you have some kind of sense of things that I'm still working on, things that maybe I could stand to integrate. You may have a better idea of that than I do. There's a really, really lovely Romeo Stevens tweet where he talks about this, where he says, your haters, I'm paraphrasing here, but your haters are sharing, like, be grateful to your haters because they're sharing hypotheses about what you still have to work on and how you still have to grow. And that's really valuable information. So in this way, when someone sees our shadow, that could be the beginning of a really valuable integration and learning and growth, but it's not guaranteed. And it's very uncomfortable often to have someone see something about you that you didn't see about yourself, and something that's painful or shameful or embarrassing or uncomfortable about us. But you kind of just open yourself up to that if you put yourself out there. That's true in person. If you sort of make friends in person, you are putting yourself out there. In the same way, when you make a tweet or a thread or a blog post or a YouTube video or whatever it is, you're putting yourself out there, and you're putting yourself out there to a wide audience, which means probably a lot of people will see it, and not everybody may be kind, and people might treat you in a way that they might not treat you if you're just at the grocery store or a bar or a library or whatever, some local public place. Often people, unfortunately, can be much more disrespectful on the internet when there are fewer consequences to being unkind. And we know that on a deep level. We know, oh yeah, I might receive some bullying or some unkindness or some cruelty if I put myself out there, if I'm real, if I'm vulnerable. And so naturally we want to protect ourselves from that. That said, in my experience, it's really worth putting yourself out there. It's really worth making the thing and sharing the thing, whatever it is for you, a song, a poem, a blog post, an essay, a novel, a story, whatever it is. Someone out there needs to hear that and is going to benefit from it. And even, if you have an unintegrated shadow, even if you have things you're still working on, there's someone who's going to resonate with it, who's going to benefit from that. And it may be someone today, and it might be someone 10 years from now. People are still finding old blog posts that I wrote or old videos that I make, and I'm happy when that helps them. And the net positives of sharing yourself on the internet are so much higher than the negatives typically. There's stories you'll hear about stalkers and what have you, but at least in my experience and the experience of my friends, typically the positives far outweigh the negatives. And even the negatives, like when I think about threads that I've had or tweets that I've written that got sort of negative attention or criticism, or people called me on something, like those led to really good conversations and moved things in interesting ways and helped me see from new perspectives, or showed me blind spots or showed me shadow that I had to work on. And that's such valuable material for psychological growth. I really think that writing and sharing on the internet can be such a powerful engine for personal, psychological, spiritual growth if you approach it from that perspective. I just wanted to talk about this as something that I've observed over time that might be under discussed about a risk of sharing on the internet, something that might be scary about sharing on the internet. And also to encourage you, this is out there, this is real, but it's still worth sharing yourself. It's worth putting yourself out there. It's worth meeting the friends that you'll meet when you share yourself. It's worth being connected to the people you're going to get connected to. Business opportunities, relationships, new ideas, new growth personally. So much good stuff can happen, and it's hard to say exactly what will happen, but it's the conditions for really good consequences. And I'm passionate about people putting themselves out there, and we have to face the realities of that and acknowledge the fears that we may have, and also find some way to be courageous and share what we can and be brave and benefit the world in that way, and also to enjoy the fruits that come from that. So hope this is inspiring to you in some way. Hope that you share some things, and would love to hear what you think about it in the comments.